Demon Hunter is weird. It's the only class that has ever been added to Hearthstone. It's the only class that has a 1-mana hero power. It's the only class whose Greetings emote is not a Greetings. Its day 1 release deck is the strongest deck of all time, until it got nerfed 1 day later. Then it had the second strongest deck of all time. Then it got nerfed 2 weeks later. Then again 1 month later. Finally, Demon Hunter became reasonably powered, but now it faced an identity crisis. Without just the trait of being the best, it was time for more experimentation and a decision on what it meant for a card to be Demon Hunter.
Figure out what you do! You had all summer to think of it!
Glide is a 4-mana rare Demon Hunter spell with the effect, shuffle your hand into your deck, draw 4 cards. Outcast. Your opponent does the same. The classic card you can point to explain that Hearthstone players have no idea what they are talking about when it comes to previewing cards, this card was widely considered broken prior to the release of Stelina's Academy, and received some of the highest community ratings in the whole set, and that is saying a lot, considering Skelomance is one of the strongest sets ever released. For a long time, this card didn't see play. Then, the Demon Hunter quest was revealed, and people thought that the quest was terrible, and probably the worst quest in the expansion. Then, Quest Demon Hunter became really good, and Glide became a key component of the deck, and a linchpin in the Garrote Rogue matchup.
There it is though, Sol. Glide. I do love that he went from a card that everyone was like, oh, this is funny, and then just didn't really look at it more than once, and then to now it's just one of the singular most powerful cards in the game.
The craziest thing is that this card was released in the same set as Secret Passage. It was also released in the same set as... Star Student Stelina is a 4-mana 4/3 Demon Hunter legendary minion with the effect, Outcast, look at 3 cards in your opponent's hand, shuffle 1 of them into their deck. Another player in Demon Hunter's Disruption package, there is a lot to unpack in this card. First of all, it has 3 health, the same as a 1-drop like Aldor Attendant. It was also released in the same set as Brain Freeze and Soul Shear, meaning 4 classes just got really good 3 damage minion removal. Your opponent removing your 4-drop with a 1-mana spell is not a recipe for success. This card used to have a unique effect until Theotar Bad Duke was recently released, which is pretty much the same, except it's neutral, it's a battle cry and not an outcast so you don't have to set it up, and it can permanently prevent your opponent from playing a card rather than just delaying it until they draw it later. But it does have 1 less attack. Also sure, Theotar does give your opponent a card, but giving your opponent 1 Piranha Swarmer for their Sire Denathrius is pretty much just as good. Staying on the topic of Demon Hunter Disruption, Mana Burn is a 1-mana common Demon Hunter Fel spell with the effect, your opponent has 2 fewer mana crystals next turn. Released alongside some of Demon Hunter's most powerful cards like Altruist and Twin Slice, this is one of the few ways to decrease your opponent's mana crystals in the game. The other cards that can do that are pretty much just Celestial Alignment, Revenant Rascal, and Mojo Master Zihi. Or like Cyrus Darkmooning them and Darnassus Aspirant. It's a 9-mana combo, it can happen. But those cards are all permanent effects. This is a temporary reduction of your opponent's abilities that is more similar to cards like Lotheb or Forensic Duster. Hypothetically, you can use this card in an aggro deck to prevent your opponent from clearing your minions, but aggro Demon Hunter decks were largely more interested in good tempo cards like Beaming Sidekick, or ways to push more face damage like Consume Magic or Twin Slice. This guy was even able to make the cut sometimes. But at least this was a Demon Hunter spell that people probably remember, unlike Soul Split is a 4-mana rare Demon Hunter shadow spell with the effect, choose a friendly demon, summon a copy of it. It's a good thing this card is only friendly demons. Can't have anybody copying my fearsome Doomguard. This card largely falls into the same boat as Menagerie Warden, where it's really good if you can stick a minion, but then again, everything is really good if you can stick a minion. In fact, it's worse than Menagerie Warden because Menagerie Warden at least gives you a 4/4. A largely forgettable card. I honestly thought there was a mistake on the Hearthstone card library when I saw it. However, if you want the opposite of forgettable, take a look at Zai the Incredible is a 5-mana 5/3 legendary Demon Hunter minion with the effect Battle Cry, copy the left and right most cards in your hand. Also having the same amount of health as a 1-drop, Zai the Incredible is not the type of card you see too often in Demon Hunter. Released in Dark Moon Fair, I think this card was part of some PR efforts for Demon Hunter to get people to think of it as fun and quirky, and not an aggro deck that had been at the top of the meta for 2 expansions straight. The only problem with this theory is that they released Stilt Stepper and Dreadlord's Bite in the same set, but don't worry. This card works with the hand management skills that Demon Hunter requests from its outcast cards, and rewards players for strategizing how to get the best card to duplicate over to the right. This card does read like a double big ol' whelp for only 2 less health, but when you're Demon Hunter and have card draw coming out of your ears, that's not really something you're looking for. We know that mages cast spells and warriors gain armor, so seeing a new class in Hearthstone trying to figure out what it's supposed to do is really interesting to see. That is, unless it's beating you through taunts with Kayn. Or Ochi Kang on turn 7 with Il'gynoth. Or clearing your whole board with Altruist. Or discounting all their cards with Skull of Gul'dan. Or trading super well with the only 1-mana hero power in the game. Or pulling Crixus off Beastmaster. Thanks for watching. Or healing a million off life steal cards. Or healing a million off soul fragments. Or completely swinging the board with soul fragments and then listen.
Evil draws close.
What?
Evil draws close.
What are you saying?
Evil draws close.
Oh, you saying like
Greetings.
Yeah, like
Evil draws close.